it's something that just seems to be it's never been optimal in the Middle East for Christians or for any religious minority for that matter, or ethnic minority. But it just seems to go from bad to worse. And Iraq, of course, is a perfect example of this, where at one time, up until probably 1991, 1992, you had about 1.6 million Christians, most of them Catholic, living in Baghdad, living in northwestern Iraq in what we call the Nineveh Plain. And in the last 30 years, we've seen that community, for a number of reasons, dismembered and really they've been dispersed throughout the world. And today we have fewer than 200,000 Christians left, which was interesting, of course, to see that community rally when His Holiness, when the Pope went there earlier this spring.
Michael, one of the other countries that we really don't talk about where there is Christian persecution is India. And I know that your organization also has a focus there as well. Talk to us about what Christians are facing in India.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Tom. It's something that's of increasing concern to us. Historically, India is, as a nation, as one of the world's largest democracies, has been a place where Christians they've been there since the time of Thomas, the Apostle Thomas, who brought Christianity to Kerala, southwestern India, in the first century. And the church has thrived there. And in fact, in the state of Kerala, where they form about 25% of the population, you have 100% literacy, you have tremendous strides in economic and commercial development and educational development. And all of that now seems to be in jeopardy as legislation throughout the country and all the different states of the subcontinent are enacting legislation that makes it difficult for people who are not churched or who are not a member of any religious community to show interest in becoming Christian, or even legislation in place that's denying the church the opportunity to do its apostolic work.
So there's actually the government is actually getting involved in that. I think a lot of people don't realize that. Talk to us about Catholic Near East Welfare Association and what you do on the ground to help these communities in Africa and the Middle East and India.
We were founded 95 years ago by Pope Pius XI to work with Christian refugees, at that time Syrians, Assyro-Chaldeans, Armenians, Greeks, and to provide them with support, pastoral support, what we mean support for their churches, as well as humanitarian support. We're still doing that 95 years later. And in fact, the need is probably greater today than it has been in quite some time. We're based in New York, and we're an agency of the Holy See, meaning the Holy Father continues to, we operate with him and through him and in support of his concerns.
Right.
We have offices in national offices or regional offices in the Middle East, throughout Northeast Africa, which would be Eritrea and Ethiopia and Egypt. We have an office in southwestern India. And basically what these regional offices do is staffed by nationals, by folks on the ground who maintain very strong relationships with the local church and have their ear on the ground. So we know precisely what the priorities, what the needs are. We can negotiate, discuss those things, and then work to raise money and awareness here in the United States and in Canada